It's terribly sad that so few people seem to understand the meaning of universal absolute freedom due to their training from birth to be small-minded, brute-beast automatons, virtually incapable of independent thought and easily manipulated by those of the evil mastermind caliber. How can the masses embrace such, much less attain, universal absolute freedom if they can barely conceive or understand what it is and the implications thereof? The departure from the current norms it would provide humanity at large is profound, monumental, enormous, of biblical proportions. You rightfully own me, Father, and in my right mind that's exactly what I want. To acknowledge, honor, and please you is the most certain path to peace of mind. That's more so a prayer. The simple, in-your-face reason the female of our species has the upper hand, greater power, and the most important role in continuing human existence. Empirical, scientifically proven evidence shows males are needier than females, since the fact is that females have greater sexual self-control by virtue of natural law. They rule the human roost. In the exceedingly unlikely event that males should ever achieve greater self-control than females, we would rule the roost. However, in the scheme of our overall human contentment, such a paradigm shift would be relatively insignificant. God knows what he and / she is doing. I'm alluding to the fact that God himself is herself, themselves, is male and female. If there's one thing God really understands, is falling in love. Okay? That's one thing God totally gets. That just unquenchable urge to be whole. That's what's going on here. That a man really, really, really wants a woman to be whole, to share his life with, and he just does not feel right. I do not feel right. I haven't for a long, long time. Okay, I might come across like I'm in my sound mind, but listen, I don't think there's any men that are in their sound mind that are living alone, okay, that don't want to be. A man needs a woman. He can't never be self-satisfied, and that's just, God, I want that more than any. I swear to God, and I swear to God, honest to God, listen, I would rather have a good woman in my life, a beloved that's given me 100%, that I'm giving her 100% to go through eternity with, more than everything in the world. Billions upon billions of dollars, no amount of money, trillions upon trillions, nothing in the world, not everything in the world combined, would I trade for the hand of my beloved. That's what I want, more than anything. That's it. I wish God would cut me down. If I'm lying, if I'm not being truthful about that, I'd just as soon God take my life at this very moment. Okay, because I got nothing. I'm nobody. That's it. That's the way I feel. Okay, that's my life. And while I can serve God and I can find a modicum of happiness and joy, it's nothing compared to what I know is out there waiting, if I can just find it, if I can attain it. And I need God's help to get that. And I need a woman to fall in love with me. And that's it, to give herself to me. And I'm going to make her the happiest woman in the whole world. That's what I want and need more than anything else in the whole world. Of that I am absolutely certain. Why think? So that we prove that we appreciate the power and gratification derived from thinking by utilizing our power of imagination. This is clearly one among the greatest gifts to our humanity. We honor our Maker and derive a measured degree of honor of which we can honor others with. That's right. Yeah, and as much as I say I've had a really good life, I'm having a really good life, and I fully intend on continuing to have a really good life, remember, that's a life I'm living as a single man. That's a life that is not right in my mind, my estimation, and never will be until I find a beloved. It's as simple, cut and dried as that, my friends. Take a little time as necessary, as desired, to tune into the extreme love God has for you personally. Soon you will feel the joy and peace that comes from the single greatest relationship we can ever have. Whenever we think to dehumanize others, we only serve to dehumanize ourselves. Clearly, this is a fool's errand. In light of overwhelming evidence of the incontrovertible fact that we humans are being roundly manipulated by evil men from birth on, it is only proper and dutiful that we are perpetually cognizant of the flaws in our wholly invented so-called reality, essentially a paradigm conjured up by evil men. While we are all trained from birth to be of the good little small-minded brute beast automaton types, the truth is that we are all gods, that is to say, children of God, made precisely in God's very image and likeness, with godlike endowment. We are equal because we are equally loved. We are lied to about the true nature of reality from birth to steal our God-given infinite power of godliness. We can only know the difference between the truth and deception by knowing the facts and then building our belief systems accordingly. Like science or mathematics, facts are based upon clear evidence of the truth. Being that for all intents and purposes, perception is indeed our reality, we can see the imperative need to be cognizant of the real truth, simply as not to live a lie, so as not to be deceived into accepting a deception, simply because we chose to be indifferent, to not care about the truth. We chose not to know the facts and have no one else to blame except ourselves. Not all so-called truisms are true. For example, you can have your cake and eat it too, if you have an extra cake or can bake another one. And a watched pot does in fact boil. And when people say the earth is not getting any bigger, in fact it is, to the tune of some 60 tons of cosmic dust every day. These are but a few examples of pseudo-truisms. Some say we should all accept the fact that the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. In other words, the least oppressed get less and less oppressed, while the most oppressed get more and more oppressed. But I say such a paradigm can only exist so long as we, as individuals and collectively, tolerate it. We're all stuck on this ship of fools careening to destruction. But we can and should speak out against this evil course. We not only have a right to have a responsibility to do so, but we have a responsibility to do so, and vociferously at that, speak out against evil. We naturally revere, protect, tread lightly, and cherish those things we value in order of the most valued things in our lives. We should all think long and hard about the things we really care about, those values we most cherish. Why not think seriously about the personal implications for us if you or I should happen to die today? How can anyone purporting to be in their right mind ever suggest that is being negative? We all know that possibility exists and that there is not a damn thing we can do about that fact. The question becomes things like, what type of realm do we want to go to from here? If it turns out that life really is eternal, have I been readying myself for such a place through example, through the things I preach, teach, and think, say, and do? A somber, even grave message to all the criminal elitist politicians, the money-printing bankster class, the 10% of Americans that supported the bailout of '08, and anyone else whom capitulates to these vile criminal thieves and murderers, including all those whom do not speak out vociferously against the multitude and magnitude of evils taking place in America. Also those whom disagree that we the people must thwart the plans of these evildoers by any means God grants us. Yes, to those whom disagree with a universal basic income justified by the fact that we fact that this planet, including our array of valuable resources, belongs wholly to God Almighty and to us all by extension, since we are all God's equally beloved children. All these types must share the blame for homicides committed for a few bucks, or many bucks, for traffic on the freeways, for abortions due to poverty, for dubious warfare, for the national debt, for the welfare state, for crimes committed because of financial desperation, for homelessness, for countless cases of misery induced by financial fear and insecurity, including suicide. You will all answer for your choices to be evil, for your choice to be evil. If we sincerely and seriously seek a viable means to attain self-respect while avoiding self-righteousness, invariably we will require God's help.